Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, and welcome to this rematch from round 10 between Santalune Swarm and the Saffron Psychics. We are in Santalune City today, and the Psychics are going to be starting out with Mr. Rhyme and Gardevoir, whereas the Santalune Swarm are starting out with Volcarona and Heracross. Now let us know in the comments below who you think is going to win today, the Santalune Swarm or the Saffron Psychics. Now, the Saffron Psychics are trying to not get the wooden spoon, so they definitely want that victory here today, as they're currently equal last. And Volcarona is going to start out with an Electro Ball for the Santalune Swarm. And Volcarona has actually not gotten a single elimination yet this season, and we're in the second last round, so we'll see if it can get that here today. Heracross, though, is going to go with a Misty Explosion. Unbelievable for its first move of the matchup, and everyone's still in the green as Heracross has eliminated itself. Everyone else takes that hit really well. Now Gardevoir, going for its first move of the matchup, can focus in on Volcarona. It goes with a Growl here, so it is going to lower Volcarona's attack stat. Mr. Rhyme with its opportunity goes with the Crab Hammer. Now it's going to capitalize on Volcarona's fire typing. Huge hit, and Volcarona hangs on though. Super effective, but Volcarona just by a thread is holding on as Orbeetle comes out for the Santalune Swarm. Now Orbeetle could have actually been drafted to the Saffron Psychics as it is part Psychic type. Volcarona now going for it. Potentially its last move of the matchup. It's going to go with the Seed Bomb here. And it will be responding to Mr. Rhyme with that attack. Orbeetle now going to go for its first move of the matchup. I've actually seen Orbeetle perform a Misty Explosion a number of times this season, so it doesn't want to do that as well. As he goes for a Metal Claw on Gardevoir, and that is super effective and takes Gardevoir down into the yellow. Gardevoir is part Fairy type. As Gardevoir goes with the Heal Pulse, but targets Orbeetle. Now the Santalune Swarm is surely wishing they had targeted Volcarona with that attack, as we get a Heal Bell from Mr. Rhyme, but that does fail. Saffron Psychic's going for the big heal type moves here today. Volcarona's still hanging in here, and it's going to go with a Liquidation now. Targeting Gardevoir. Takes Gardevoir down into the red, but still Volcarona hasn't gotten its first elimination yet. Hydro Cannon now coming from Orbeetle, and this is surely going to finish Gardevoir off. And that it does, so Gardevoir has been eliminated, and just like that we are back to being level here on the battlefield. Now Mr. Rhyme could finish Volcarona off here. And goes with the conversion, so it's actually going to change its typing here. So it goes from Ice Psychic type, but now it's going to change its typing to normal. Third Pokemon though for the Saffron Psychics comes out, and it's Claydol. Psychic Ground type, it has that Levitate ability as well. Volcarona is going to go with the Night Daze. And it is going to target Claydol. Welcoming it to the field and takes it down into the yellow already with that super effective move. It's also going to lower Claydol's accuracy as Orbeetle has to recharge here on the field. Claydol going for its first move of the matchup. Goes with the Brave Bird, but Orbeetle avoids that attack. Now Mr. Rhyme goes with the Leaf Storm. Targets Orbeetle. Orbeetle taking its first damage of the matchup. Not very effective, and it's also going to lower Mr. Rhyme's special attack there. Now, as always, this is a 6-on-6 Metronome battle, and if we hit the 20-minute time limit, we will go into single battle overtime. And I cannot believe Volcarona is still hanging in here, as it's going to go for an Aerial Ace. Continuing to focus on Claydol. Claydol still standing strong after that Aerial Ace, though. Final Gambit coming from Orbeetle. And Orbeetle is going to take Claydol with it, but Orbeetle has eliminated itself from this matchup. So now it is a 4 versus 4 match, but Mr. Rhyme could change that if it gets the elimination on Volcarona here. And we're going to see a Poltergeist, so Volcarona is going to be attacked with its own Leopard Berry. Mr. Rhyme should get the elimination here. And that it does, so we will not see Volcarona get an elimination. I'm kind of sad for Volcarona here. It was the #1 draft pick for the Santalune Swarm and still yet to get an elimination. As Scizor comes out for the Swarm, and it's going to be accompanied by Center Scorch. And Exeggutor coming out for the Saffron Psychics now. Now Exeggutor is in its Cantonian form, as its Alolan form couldn't be drafted to the Saffron Psychics because it is a Grass Dragon type. Now Mr. Rhyme's going to go with the Scale Shot. Speaking of Dragon types, goes with the Dragon type move. Hits Center Scorch twice. It's a multi-hit move. It's got it 3 times. And it'll only get the 3 hits there. And again, Mr. Rhyme lowering its defenses. So it's lowering its own stats here, but it has boosted its speed. Sizzle now, the steel bug type. He's going to go with the parting shot, so it's actually going to go back to the bench. Now with that parting shot, it will lower Exeggutor's attack and special attack. But Sizzle goes back to the bench, so please do not be confused. It has not been eliminated. And Vikavolt, the last Pokemon for the Santalune Swarm, comes out onto the battlefield, the electric bug type. Get a Brick Break now, coming from Center Scorch. Targeting Exeggutor. It's not very effective though. But Exeggutor now with its opportunity to respond. And it's going to go with the Twister. This should hit both Vikavolt and Center Scorch. Doesn't do a great deal of damage though. Now, the Santalune Swarm still actually have a chance to make the championship trials in 2 weeks. They have to win today and they have to win next week. And they need other teams to lose in the right places. As we get an Aqua Ring from Mr. Rhyme. So, Santalune Swarm are fighting a massive uphill battle here today. Especially now that they have lost that lead. 3 Pokemon remaining on the Santalune Swarm. 4 Pokemon remaining for the Saffron Psychics. The Center Scorch lowers the special defense of Mr. Rhyme. Mr. Rhyme is going to become an easy target with those lowered defenses. Aqua Tail coming from Exeggutor. And it goes for Vikavolt instead of capitalizing on Center Scorch's fire typing. Now Vikavolt's going to go with a Stomp. And it'll take Mr. Rhyme down into the yellow, but that Aqua Ring is going to restore some of Mr. Rhyme's health. Now Vikavolt needs to capitalize on its 145 special attack. That's where it shines and excels. And Mr. Rhyme goes with the Headbutt. Going for Vikavolt here, taking it down into the yellow, trying to make sure that Vikavolt can't capitalize on that special attack we just mentioned. Rising Voltage now coming from Center Scorch. And this will go for Exeggutor. Does very minimal damage as it's not very effective. Exeggutor though looking to respond. And it goes with the Rock Tomb. And this will go for Center Scorch. A huge hit, but Center Scorch holds on by the thinnest of threads. Center Scorch will have its speed lowered. And Vikavolt has flinched as well. This is terrible for the Santalune Swarm. They're fantastic for the Saffron Psychics, who I said earlier, they are equal last. If they win today, they could potentially jump up and be by themselves in 17th place and push Snowpoint Frost down into last position as Mr. Rhyme goes to the softball, so it's going to restore its health here. And Mr. Rhyme almost gets itself back to full strength. As Exeggutor looks to follow up, and it's going to go with the Fusion Bolt. And the Fusion Bolt targets Center Scorch, and that almost feels like overkill. But Center Scorch has been eliminated by that overpowered move. Vikavolt still in here. He's going to go with the Bubble Beam. And it's going to target Mr. Rhyme with that move. Huge hit there on Mr. Rhyme as well. Again, Vikavolt with that massive special attack, and Mr. Rhyme's already had its special defense lowered as Sizzle comes back out onto the field. There's now 2 Pokemon left for the Santalune Swarm. And I said uphill battle. That hill is getting steeper as the seconds tick by in this matchup. Mr. Rhyme now. Gonna go with the Endeavor. Targeting Sizzle with that move. Huge hit taking Sizzle down into the yellow. But Sizzle now with its opportunity to respond. And it's gonna go with the Fire Pledge. This will be super effective. And it goes for Mr. Rhyme. Mr. Rhyme holds on. It's in the red, but it's hanging in there. Exeggutor goes with the Hex. It'll target Scissor as well, chipping away at Scissor is in the yellow still. But is it becoming an easy target for the Saffron Psychics? Substitute being performed by Vikavolt, so Vikavolt's going to give up some of its health, taking itself down into the red here. But Substitute's going to take Vikavolt's place as Mr. Rhyme restores some health. Again, that Aqua Ring paying off for Mr. Rhyme. You have to think if that Aqua Ring hadn't been performed earlier, it would have already been eliminated. Now Mr. Rhyme's going to go with the Fire Fang. And it will go for Sizzle. Sizzle has been finished off by that Fire Fang. Sizzle very vulnerable to fire type attacks. Now Exeggutor and Mr. Rhyme are going to need a target that substitute of Vikavolts. Vikavolt now. It's going to go with the Psychic. So Psychic type move, Psychic being performed on the Saffron Psychics here. And it does target Mr. Rhyme and gets the elimination as well. So Mr. Rhyme's been taken down after being in this battle for almost 10 minutes. But that's still 3 Pokemon now remaining for the Saffron Psychics that Santalune, Swarm, and Vikavolt have to take down as Alakazam comes out to join its fellow Cantonian Pokemon. Now Alakazam with its chance to target the substitute, and it goes with an endeavor of its own, but it won't work. Now Exeggutor is going to go with the Sing. And it will actually be able to put Vikavolt to sleep even with the substitute on the field there. So Vikavolt has fallen asleep even though that substitute is in its place. This is not good for the Santalune Swarm. They have 1 Pokemon remaining in the red. The only good thing going for them is that substitute's there, as we're going to get an Outrage being performed by Alakazam. And that will take the substitute down. So Vikavolt has become an easy target for the Saffron Psychics. A Torment from Exeggutor as well will benefit the Psychics, because now Vikavolt will be performing struggle. This could be its last Metronome as it goes with a Shift Gear. The last time these two rival sides met in round 10, the Santalune Swarm had much better luck. It was a 6-5 victory, so they came through in the end. But they are not looking good right now as Alakazam performs another Outrage and finishes Vikavolt off. The Santalune Swarm have lost here today, and they have lost their chance to qualify for the championship trials. The Saffron Psychics have played a massive spoiler to their rivals, and it did not start well for the Santalune Swarm at all. Heracross using that Misty Explosion in its very first move. So the Saffron Psychics, like I said, doing exactly what they need to do to ruin the season for their rival side. Santalune Swarm will be leaving here today with their heads hung in shame. So the best they can do next week is try and do the same, play spoiler to the Hearthome Haunts next week in Hearthome City. Whereas the Saffron Psychics are doing what they can to not get that wooden spoon, and next week they're going to be hosting the Goldenrod Giants in Saffron City. So if they can win again, you've got to think they're probably going to keep themselves off the bottom of the ladder after what has been a rather terrible season for the Psychic types. I genuinely thought earlier in the season they would have a better performance, whereas the Santalune Swarm I thought would have a poor performance, and they started off so strong and then they slipped down the ladder so early in the season, and they fought so hard to try and get back into the top 8, and they just could not get there. So very unfortunate here today to see the Santalune Swarm's chances being taken away by their rival side, but a good battle regardless. Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field today, and if you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe, but more importantly, always remember, you are awesome, and I will speak to you guys next time.